came in when Kevin Durant went down. I played a consistent 20 to 25 minutes. The game KD comes back, I get hurt maybe a week before the playoffs, and I'm out of it. I got a free ride. I got a free ring. I didn't sweat. I didn't get to guard LeBron. I don't count that as a championship. And the good news is we have Matt Barnes with us this morning to get a little more into that, because I think it's a fascinating comment, and here we are, maybe the first ever Get Up 5 box as we put the entire crew together. But Matt, I'll start with you. When you say that, what do you mean when you say I don't count that as a championship?
Greeny, I just had, and it's detailed. I had a roller coaster ride, a blessing to be able to play as long as I played. I wasn't even supposed to make it. I made it, but nothing was ever handed to me. I took less money consistently to be on a team that contended and a team that won, because I figured when you win, everybody eats. So I had a few chances in my career to be on those type of teams. Didn't get it done. Like I said, coming for KD, February, when he gets hurt, playing in the mix, and then the first game he comes back, I nearly break my ankle. So by the time that I'm feeling good enough to play, we're already 8-0 going into the Western Conference Finals. You know what I mean? So being a veteran player that I am, I knew that the rotation was going to stay what it was, and I just really didn't get a chance to get out there and play and sweat and go to work. Now, granted, I helped the guys prepare. I was a solid vet talking to other players when they were going through some stuff. But to me, nothing was ever handed to me, and I felt like that was handed to me. So I accepted it. I think there's a misconception that I didn't want the ring. I accepted the ring. There's a little story with that why I don't have it right now, but I just don't count it as a championship.
Well, Jalen, what do you think of that? I want your perspective on that. What do you think?
So I've known Matt a long time. I remember playing at the UCLA men's gym with he and BD and those guys when they were in college. And what I gathered from his comments and what I've always known about his personality is that he's a straight shooter. And a lot of times people don't have a level of reality and self-awareness about themselves. That's what plays out in this commentary. Yes, I enjoyed the champagne. I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of the parade, love the teammates and coaches that I got a chance to do it with. But as a competitor, like he said, he didn't feel he got the sweat equity in order to feel like he was putting the ring on his finger and being proud of it. I felt the exact same way my final year in Phoenix. I thought I was going to sneak and get me a ring playing with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. And that was the year when Robert Horry hip-checked Steve Nash into the bench. And about halfway through the year, when I realized that I was paying for more tickets per game than I was playing minutes, I wasn't as enthusiastic about winning the ring anymore. I would have taken it, but it wouldn't have felt the same if I would have won it with the Pacers, for example, when I was playing at a high level.
I get that. I totally, again, obviously, I'm the only one in this conversation who never had a chance to try and win a ring in anything. But it feels to me as though, yes, I understand if you're Tom Brady, you might feel differently about the championship than the last guy on the bench. But there's ways in which you contributed. You were a part of the team to some degree, Matt. I guess what I'm saying is, if I won a championship, I sort of jokingly said, but only half jokingly, I would take that ring and I would make a necklace out of it, and I would wear it every single day. And there's literally not a day of my life that I wouldn't want someone to see that I had that, because I was an NBA champion. And so I just can't quite relate to what you're saying.
I get it and I understand it, but, granted, you could say what you want to say about my career. There's skeptics and critics and whatever you want to say, but everywhere I went, I played. Whether I started, I was the first or second guy off the bench. I consistently played throughout my career. You know what I mean? So I always felt like I had a hand in what was going on, winning, losing, great game, bad game, whatever the situation may be. And, for the first time, outside of maybe my first 2 years in the NBA, I really felt like there was just, it wasn't about, I was a teammate. And like I said, my body of work, I earned a ring, and everything I sacrificed, the money I sacrificed, I earned that ring. But when it came down to actually having to, guard Kawhi in the playoffs and help guard us, Damian Lillard, guarding LeBron in the finals, these are all things that, if healthy, I would have did. I wasn't healthy. So I wasn't in rhythm, I wasn't in timing, and I didn't get an opportunity to. So we can go back and forth all day about it. Like Jalen said, I respect the Warriors for the utmost for giving me the opportunity. The best part about it was my twins were along for the ride. They got their rings. They were on center stage. You couldn't tell them that they weren't out there with Steph and KD. They were trying to hold the trophies and everything. So that was the best part about it, that my twins at the time were 9, got to experience that. and it'll always be something that's near and dear to my heart being on that team. But like I said, I just don't count it or talk about it or wear it.
I get it. I don't even want to go back and forth as much as I just find the psychology of it interesting from the standpoint of you guys being athletes. So, Dominique, let me come to you guys, the football players. When you hear this conversation, what do you think?
And I mean, it makes sense. I understand it. I think and again, you don't want to go back and forth with him if that's the way he feels. Anyone who's on that team deserves a ring because they contributed in some way. Like, that's the way that it works. Even like the media relations guy, like everybody kind of gets a ring, but everyone knows it feels different. That's why assistant coaches go to become head coaches, and the rings that they win when they're assistant coaches are no more, or don't feel the same as they win one as a head coach. And it might feel different for a quarterback. Like, it makes sense. And I never played in a Super Bowl, but I do know that I felt a lot worse when I tore my ACL and I couldn't play and I was getting paid. Like, I'm not going to send that money back, just like Matt not going to send his ring back. But it didn't feel like I earned it in the same way. So I think it's human nature. It makes perfect sense to me. I think what Matt said about him feeling like he's not a champion or he didn't win that ring, like, I think that's where people feel uncomfortable, because you did add value throughout the course of the season and you added value as a veteran there. But if you don't feel like you earned it, then you don't feel like you earned it. I personally feel like I would love to have a ring from anywhere, whether I was on the team or not. I'm with you, Greeny. Give me a ring, please. I'll take it. I'll figure out whether I earned it or not later.
Dan, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, incredible amount of respect for Matt. I've met Matt once in studio. I don't know him that well, obviously, but a ton of respect for his decision. You know, we oftentimes in sports hear, like, the journey is greater than the destination. And I think this is just an example of that. Like, this is an example of Matt going, my career meant more than the ring. And what I accomplished meant more than just the ring. And I say this sometimes about my own career, and maybe I'm speaking for Matt, but, like, the only person who knew how hard it was to have that career is Matt. He's the only one who knows the sacrifice and the commitment it made and the things that he gave up and the diligence that he had to go through.